Yo, what's going on guys? It's Dude here, and today we're back with a brand new video. This time I'm going to be covering some of the weird anomalies and potential Easter eggs and glitches in Gran Turismo 7. Now, some of these phenomena could definitely help your Gran Turismo gameplay. Others are just a nice to know and are really interesting in the respect that we don't know if many of the things listed in this video are actually bugs or glitches in the game, or if they were actually intended by the developers. And I'd like to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section below. So without further ado, number 1, the Mitsubishi taillights, or more specifically, the Type A bumper option. So basically, if you do a lot of performance points racing, you know the goal of the performance points racing is to get as much power on your car and as much weight reduction as possible within the PP limits. You could have the fastest car possible within that limitation. Now, one extremely weird thing that I found on the Lancer Evo 5, and I think the Evo 4 as well, maybe some others that I haven't tried, is if you go to the car customization in GT Auto, you can go to custom parts, go to the rear of the car, and you could take off these rear taillights, which you would think is just purely a cosmetic item. However, the performance points jumps down by as much as 10 pp. It really just depends on the tires you have on the car, the downforce, etc. My car drops by 5 pp, but essentially for taking off taillights, which if anything you think would actually take weight off of the car, well, it actually lowers the pp, and I have no idea why this is. Again, it's just super silly. Use this to your advantage if you like using this car often. As you can see with this Skyline R32, it doesn't actually affect the tail lights. However, if you put the Type A rear bumper option on this car as well, it drops the PP very significantly, essentially making your car way more viable for performance points racing. I use this one in particular for 700 PP, and I would be nowhere close to the performance points limit, and I would have to take off lots of horsepower if I didn't have this rear bumper option. So yeah, it's just a very weird thing. I don't know if it's intended or not. I don't know if there's actually a performance hit to putting on the Type A rear option. If you guys know in the comment section below, please let me know. But to my knowledge, it's just a free reduction in performance points that will provide you with good benefits when racing these cars in PP racing rooms. Number 2, weight reduction on certain road cars. Now, for as long as I remember, in pretty much every Gran Turismo game I've ever played, reducing the weight on especially road cars is a very prevalent part of increasing the performance on your cars in Gran Turismo. Now, here in Gran Turismo 7, basically every road car in the game can be equipped with some form of weight reduction, predictably, but for whatever reason, the very popular McLaren road cars, pretty much every single one of these McLaren road cars, you cannot put weight reduction on, even though they are road legal street cars. Now, I don't know why this is the case, and it's not just the McLarens as well. I also noticed the Pagani Huayra can't put weight reduction on, which for this car in particular is a really big shame, because I can easily see the Huayra being the best rear-wheel drive road car in the entire game as far as fully upgraded form if it had weight reduction. But because the car doesn't have weight reduction, it's multiple 100 pounds heavier than cars that it's a lot lighter than stock, which is really just a shame, because this car has so much potential and it's really held back by the fact that you can't equip weight reduction. And obviously the McLarens as well. It's an extremely weird thing. I don't know if this was intended by the developers or something that is potentially a glitch that they may fix in the future. But yeah, some road cars don't actually have weight reduction available in this game. Number 3, only front tires affect the PP system on your cars. Now, this is only partially true, as when you change the rear tires on any one of your cars, you may notice a very slight change in your performance points value. With that being said, the front tires is the one that gives you an increase or decrease in the performance points calculation. If there's one thing that you want to take from this, always run the softest tire available on your rear tires when you're doing performance points racing, because more grip is always better. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking, if you put a harder compounded tire on the front than you do on the rear, this is going to cause understeer, and although the feeling of the car may be more understeering intensive, you actually will not be going through any mid to high speed bends any slower than if you ran hards on all 4 corners, where if you put softs on the rear and hards on the front, the cornering speed will stay the same and you will benefit greatly from low speed traction, because grippier is always better. Now, as for my thoughts on tires being included in the PP system, I think it's a fundamentally flawed concept, but I'll get into that in a future video. Number 4, the monkey in the tree at Trail Mountain. Now, this is undoubtedly one of the most famous, if not the most famous, Gran Turismo Easter egg across Gran Turismo's history. At Trail Mountain Circuit, coming out of the first sector. You have this tree that is kind of above the racetrack. Now in previous games, the layout of the track and the tree itself was always very consistent, and although it was a little bit harder to see due to the low resolution of the older games, there was most definitely a monkey in the tree on Trial Mountain. Now, in Gran Turismo 7, there were many worried people early in the game's life, as with the new layout of Trial Mountain and its heavily modified textures, there was no tree overlooking the track in the same area. However, if you come to this part of the track, which is the same part of the track where the original monkey was spotted, if you aim up here with your camera in photo mode, you can clearly see that our monkey is back in action, higher than ever, and in as high resolution as ever as well. And I really do think this is a very kind and nice homage to the older Gran Turismo games, and Trial Mountain would not be Trial Mountain without having said monkey in the tree. So since the middle of the 20th century, engineers have discovered that adding aero devices to cars and planting them further into the track, adding weight to the nose and to the rear of the car, produces downforce and will make your cars go faster. Now, who refutes this? Nobody, except for Gran Turismo 7's PP system, which says if you put a lot of rear downforce on your car, the performance points of the car is going to tank, meaning that adding more grip to the rear end of your car essentially means that you are making your car worse, and I really do think you guys should take advantage of this. Basically, in any performance points lobby, put as much rear downforce as you can on your car. Yes, it will hurt your straight line speed. With that being said, it will keep your car planted in the corners, and it will lower the performance point system so that you could add more horsepower. And that more horsepower that you add will completely offset any straight line speed deficit that you get from putting on an excessive amount of rear downforce. So yes, again, free grip is something that you should always take, and with GT's current PP system, why not add a bunch of rear downforce? Now, the next weird anomaly in Gran Turismo 7 I already made a full-length video on, which I recommend you go watch if you would like to see the full test. But essentially, racing brakes and carbon ceramic brakes have literally zero difference between them. They are programmed to be the exact same in Gran Turismo 7 with absolutely no differences whatsoever. I did a full comprehensive test on this. Now, some people might be quick to say that I only did it on one car and I wasn't using very grippy tires, but if you try this with any car, again, you will find that the racing brakes and the carbon ceramic brakes have no difference whatsoever, and they are programmed to be identical even over long periods of time. I know carbon ceramic brakes are better at managing heat and lasting longer and are better at doing longer track days, but in this game, again, they have no difference whatsoever. Next up, I'm going to talk about Route X's secret infield. Now, YouTuber MattJ155 did a fantastic job detailing the Route X infield and its life in Gran Turismo, and this is a track that's never been released in Gran Turismo, but was rumored to be the testing ground for the Red Bull cars in their infancy near Gran Turismo 5. Now, as long as Route X has been in the game, this track has basically existed within Route X's world. Even to some of the keenest of eyes, this Route X infield has flown under the radar. You could see many parts of the infield from the regular track itself. Because you're going so fast on this track most of the time, you may have actually never had the time to take in these surroundings and notice that there is parts of an infield layout here. The track is rumored to be laid out like this, an extremely unique track, an extremely high-speed track that actually kind of more reminiscent of something from Mario Kart or just a fantasy track in general than something that you would see in Gran Turismo, which may be one of the reasons why it hasn't been added to this day, but we all know it exists, and Polyphony, I think it would be pretty sweet if you added this in one of the updates. For the last bug, I actually have no idea whether or not this actually works in Gran Turismo 7. Now, as a community, I would like to see you guys maybe give this a try and let me know if this works in Gran Turismo 7. This is something that I've always been very interested in, but haven't really had the time to actually try out myself. So essentially, in October of 2018, Spazinator895, a YouTuber with a very small following, posted a video, how to glitch out of bounds in Gran Turismo Sport, essentially showing off this technique where at extremely high speed, you'll take a road car, once again, a McLaren. He went completely sideways using the e-brake, and with the proper timing and a proper impact on the wall, was able to clip through to the other side of the wall on a few different tracks. Now, again, I've tried this a few times and I haven't gotten it to work myself. I do not know if this will work in Gran Turismo 7. However, I'm very optimistic as the Gran Turismo Sport engine was obviously carried over and is definitely the framework for Gran Turismo 7. I think that's pretty obvious based on, you know, the HUD elements and the way the game looked. Now, when you do glitch out of bounds, it's not like older Gran Turismo games where you can just roam around forever. There is a barrier at which point you will get reset, and that's a real shame. But just the thought of being able to go through a wall and glitch out of the map in a modern Gran Turismo game is extremely enticing to me. I doubt that it provides any sort of advantage if you do get out of the map, but I think it's an extremely cool way to explore and venture outside of the intended area in Gran Turismo 7. Now, in closing, doubtless some of you may know about some of these bugs and anomalies in Gran Turismo 7. I really hope you found this video helpful and or entertaining, and I really do appreciate if you enjoyed the video and or the commentary that you click the subscribe button, as well as leave a like and comment, as that greatly helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. I would love to post more videos like this, so if you guys show some love and show me that you actually enjoy this type of video, I'll definitely be more inclined to post more. Also, I just wanted to give you guys an update. I got my new computer set up, so the tuning videos and the tuning guides will be coming very soon. But other than that, guys, that's about it for me. I really hope you guys enjoy your night, and I'm out. Peace.